Guys, Mr. Schwanenkamp here. We are doing 9.5 piecewise functions. Depending on where you're getting this video from, piecewise functions can be just multiple lines being drawn. I decided to turn it up a notch here, and instead of just different lines, we're going to draw different shapes as well. So that is how we're going to do this. It is a little bit complicated of a lesson, but if you can graph lines, if you can graph the shapes we've been graphing, it's not any different. It's just an understanding where are we putting these two parts. It's called piecewise because there are going to be multiple pieces of the same function. So don't be overwhelmed by it. It might look kind of strange at first, but once you do it, it shouldn't be too bad. Here is the key to drawing a piecewise function. The first thing we're going to do is draw a break line. The break line that I'm referring to is where does my graph split? So for this example right here, there is a break line at 1 because one graph is on the left side of 1. 1 is when it's less than 1. 1 is when it's greater than 1. So they called it a fence in this. Same difference. All right. Then we're going to graph each function on the correct side of the line. And then we are going to either add closed circles or open circles, depending on whether it's equal to or not. So if it's just less than, we're going to put an open circle because that means we're not including it. We're not equal to that line. But if it's equal to, then we're going to put a closed dot on the line. All right, and you can read that a little bit more as we go through it, but let's do this. So I kind of broke it down into steps for you in understanding what's going on. So we've got this line, the square root of x plus 8 plus 3, if x is less than 1, and negative x plus 3 when x is greater than or equal to 1. So we're going to graph each one. We have a fence or a break line here. Our break line or fence is going to happen at 1. And so the first thing I'm going to do is go to 1 on my graph, and I'm going to draw a vertical line. That is where my graph is going to split into two separate pieces. I'm going to graph one line on this side. That's my table squeaking. I got one side here, and I've got another side over here. And that break line kind of separates the two things from each other. And the key is which side does each one go on. All right, so the first one is square root of x plus 8 plus 3 if x is less than 1. And I always like to use this as kind of a pointing thing. It's on the left side of 1. It is literally pointing that way, that inequality sign. And so what does that mean? I'm graphing that to the left of the fence. So this graph right here is going to live in this yellow part of my graph. All right, so we've got that. Is it going to be an open or a closed circle? Well, it's not equal to. There is not an underline underneath. So if there's not an underline underneath, that means I'm going to have an open circle on the fence, meaning that I'm going to get right up to it, but I'm not going to include that value. So we're going to draw a open circle on the fence. Same thing on the green line here. So when x is greater than 1, that means to the right of 1, I'm graphing it on this side. What am I graphing? I'm graphing this guy to the right, and it's going to be a closed circle because it is equal to. All right, so keep those things in mind. Let's go ahead and put this together. Sorry, I'm really bad when things don't look pretty, so I had to make it look a little bit prettier. There we go. All right, so the square root of x plus 8 plus 3. So the plus 8 is going to take me left 8. The plus 3 is going to take me up 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know why I didn't just go to where it said 8. Negative 8 plus 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my starting dot. It is a teapot graph, so my pattern is 1, 3, 5. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to stop right there. I don't need to keep going because I only want to graph this line to the left. So I'm going to connect these dots, make my teapot graph, and when I get to the line, I'm going to use an open circle. So right here at 1, at my break line, I'm going to use an open circle because it was not underlined. So there's the left side. The right side, I'm graphing negative x plus 3. So what would that look like? Well, I would start at positive 3, so I'd start right here. My slope is negative 1. It's a line, so I'm going to go down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, and so on. I only want to connect the dots to the right of the red line, so this dot right here doesn't really matter. I'm just going to use these dots. I could go back and erase it, but I'm okay. I understand it. Well, I get a little ugly there at the end. But there's my line going this way. Because it was equal to, I'm going to put a closed dot. And I'm done. That's it. All right. That is a piecewise function. I've got one graph on the left, another graph on the right. These have a lot of real world applications. But again, we're not getting too deep into that yet. Let's graph another one. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is put my break line, put my fence. There's definitely a fence at 0 because that is where they split up. I'm going to graph this line when x is greater than 0. So this line is when it's greater than 0. So that's on this side of the graph when it's greater than. I'm graphing x cubed if it's less than 0. So less than 0 is on the left side of the graph. So just kind of color coordinated my graph here. So let's graph the first one. Absolute value. The -1 is going to take me right 1. The +4 is taking me up 4. So right 1, up 4. It's an absolute value graph, so I'm going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, boom. I don't want to go any more to the left because that red line broke me. And I'm going like that. On the line, because it's underlined, I'm going to go a closed circle. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a dark dot. There is the right side of this line. On the left side of this line, I'm graphing x cubed. So think about what that is. Well, it didn't get shifted at all, so I'm going to start right here in the middle. Okay. I'm actually going to use an open circle right there in the middle because it's not underlined. To the right, I'd go up and over 1 and then up 7 over 1. But I don't want them on the right side. I only want to go on the left side. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 7 over 1. If you got to draw it and then erase it, do that. But my graph is going to look like that. Again, if I wanted to, not if I wanted to, sorry. If I were to graph the whole thing, it would look like that. But I only want it to the left of that line. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that thing. That is the shape on the left-hand side. So it's that cube root graph. Or not cube root, just a cube graph only to the left of 0. There's my graph. Let's do it again. Negative absolute value of x plus 6. My break line is at 4. So I'm going to go to 4. When I'm less than 4, when I'm left of 4, I'm graphing this. So that's going over here. The plus 6 takes me up 6. It's a V, but it's negative, so it's going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Boom, 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 boom. On the line, it's underlined, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a dark circle there. Connect the dots. Boom, just like that. And I'm going to graph 1/4 x minus 2 on the right because I'm only graphing it when x is greater than 4. I'm going to graph this thing, so that's on this side of the line. So I'm going to start at -2. My slope is 1/4, so I'm up 1 over 4, up 1 over 4, up 1 over 4. This is going to be an open circle right here because it's not underlined, and I'm going to only connect that line over on that side. Let's do it again. Next one. Break line is at -5, so I'm going to go to -5, draw a line. When x is greater than -5, I'm graphing that one. So this is greater than -5 on the right of -5. Again, that arrow is even pointing to that side. All right, so greater than -5, I'm going to start at +4. It's a cube root graph, so I'm going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 7. My pattern is 1, 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 7. So I would go somewhere over here. It's going to be somewhere like right about there that I'm going to intersect that line. Not underlined, so I'm going to throw an open circle there. Next one. Square root of x plus 6 squared minus 7. All right, I'm graphing it when it's less than -5, so it's going to be over here on the left-hand side. The plus 6 is going to take me left 6. The minus 7 is going to take me down 7, so left 6, down 7. It is a squared graph, so it's a parabola, so up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 3, over 1. It's going to look like that on this side. On this side, it's going to stop right there, and it is going to be a closed circle because it's underlined. They're a little bit weird. They're kind of just two different graphs at once. That's all we're doing. I'm going to go faster here. -4, negative x plus 3 squared, so that is a parabola. I'm going to graph it to the right of negative 4. Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to go plus 3. That's my starting dot. I don't like this graph at all. I started graphing this one, but this one's going to be really weird because the parabola is going to be over like this, and you're not even going to see the intersection spot. So I'm going to end up not doing this one. Just kind of a bad problem on my part. Let's skip that one. Let's go to this last one. Cube root of x minus 2 minus 5. My break line is at 3, so I'm going to go ahead and draw the line at 3. All right, so line at 3. On the right side, we're graphing this thing, so the minus 2, I'm sorry, left side, because it's less than. Minus 2 is going to take me right 2. The minus 5 is going to take me down 5, so I'm starting right there. It's a cube root, so I'm up 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 7. So my graph's going to look something like that. When I get to this line, I'm going to dark circle. X squared plus 3, or I'm sorry, 2/3 x plus 3, so the plus 3 is going to take me up 2. The slope is 2/3, so I'm going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. Open circle here like that. That is going to be my graph. Weird, but we could do it. All right. Let's just say, just so we could see it. So I'm going to make an easy one here. Let's make it, let's say it's 4 is the break line. Actually, I'm just going to write a whole new problem. I don't like this problem. Let's make up a new one. All right. So let's say I said you were going to graph x, x plus 1 if x is greater than 0. And let's say we graphed negative x squared plus 1 if x is less than or equal to 0. Let's do that problem real quick. Okay, so I'm going to graph x plus 1 when it's greater than 0. So I'm going to go to plus 1. My y-intercept is 1. This is a line. My slope is 1, so I'm up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it needs to be an open circle at that spot, and it's going to go to the right because that's a greater than sign. Then I want to graph negative x squared plus 1 if x is less than 0. So this is a parabola. The plus 1 is going to take me up 1. Sorry, I wanted to do this too. It's going to take me up 1. It says I want to put a closed dot at 0. So I'm going to put a closed dot. Oh no, there's an open circle. Well, if you have an open circle and you put a closed circle inside of it, it's now closed. So we're going to make that a closed dot. And then it's negative x squared. So it's a downward parabola. So down 1 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 5 over 1. That is my graph. Hope those make sense to you. It's more than anything else. It's just graphing two shapes at the same time and understanding open or closed circle and which side of the line. Hope that helps, guys. If not, let me know.